here, and we're going to go ahead and get this started. So good morning, everybody. Please tell us where you are coming in from. I'm in Canton, Michigan. I know you're in Whidbey Island, Dr. Weeks, and it's great to see you again.
Fabulous. Nice to be joining everybody and launching these exciting products.
Absolutely. So before we jump into the products, what they do, why we need them, why we should sell them, right, to all of our, following, our customers and all that, I just wanted to share a quick little backstory on how I even found Dr. Weeks. Kind of a crazy story. But some of you guys know, some of you don't know, but I actually was diagnosed bipolar 2 in 2012. So 2 years before I met Josh. And it's been trial and error for me to just kind of figure out how to manage life. It was the same time I got diagnosed with celiac disease. So interestingly enough, your gut, your mind kind of all work together. But I was on a flight and I was reading this book not too long ago. And it's the Natural Medicine Guide to Bipolar Disorder. Interestingly enough, I wanted to know, honestly, like, am I doing the right things? Like, I feel pretty good. I don't feel like I am acting bipolar. I don't know. I feel like pretty good. I wanted to know, like, am I healthy? Check everything. And I found at the end of this book, I read it literally in the whole flight, just read it so fast, a list of doctors that were in this book. And I called every single one of them, and almost every single one of them was no longer taking patients, out of business, or doing something else completely. But one person did answer, and that was Dr. Weeks. So I called him, and he's in this random island in Washington, far from me. And I just was like, I just feel so called. I'm just going to book a flight and go check it out and see, what he's all about. And when I met him, I knew right away, this guy knew exactly what he was talking about. He had learned a lot of the same things I had learned through my own trial and error, health journey, but obviously beyond that, because he has a medical degree and he helps patients from all over the country and has developed his own products at this point. And so back when I saw him in May, I've been using the products since then and actually have them here today. And so I've learned so many things from you, Dr. Weeks. Like, I am repeating things that I heard, from when we first met. And, I've even said things on stage that I've learned from you. Like our last event, I remember thinking, just some of the things I've learned along the way from you, like all mental illness, for instance, is the result of inflammation. Like, that's an amazing thing to know. There's a lot of things you can do to help mitigate not just mental health issues, but just overall health issues by taking natural supplements, taking care of yourself, making sure you're getting enough sleep and all that good stuff. And for those of you who are watching today and want to know what these products are all about, what they do, and who they're for, well, we have the expert and the formulator here ourselves with us today, Dr. Weeks. So I want to turn it over to you and just kind of, if you could give us just a quick little background, kind of how you, got into this field, how you got into creating these products, and then of course, who are these products for? Why do we need them? And before we end the call, I'm going to share my testimony with using these products as well, so you guys know that we've tried it before we launched it, and they're phenomenal products. So, Dr. Weeks, take it away.
Jenna, what a pleasure. Great to see you again. So my path began by doing research in mineral metabolism at Massachusetts General Hospital back in the early 80s. And I was always scientifically oriented, and I like to understand how things work. So in the practice of medicine, what I then learned is that the better option is to actually help people correct their imbalances, whatever their symptoms, psychiatric, neurological, cardiovascular, gastrointestinal. There are symptoms which arise as kind of a warning. And if we can help correct imbalances on the biochemical level, maybe there's too much sugar, maybe there's too little protein, things are out of balance and that causes disease. So whereas I became a medical doctor and I'm licensed to prescribe medications, that's a very small part of my practice, because I think everyone understands that medications serve the purpose of making you feel better. They help suppress symptoms, but they don't actually fix problems for the most part. And my patients are very proactive and empowered like you, Jenna, and your family, you wanted to really get things right because you understand that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Your body is designed to be functioning at a high level. And medications can help in the short run to suppress symptoms, but they never fix the problem. So what we do is we try to fix the problems. Now that's made me kind of a medical heretic because most medical societies like doctors to prescribe a lot of medications, but I'm the guy who's a medical doctor who gets people off of medications in a safe and effective manner. So that's what I've offered people. And what happened is we need to use natural supplements. We begin with lifestyle. Obviously, it's the old saw, but your grandmother told you this. You have to exercise more, sleep better, eat well. These are the epigenetics, or these are the factors which really can optimize your ability to heal and recover. These lifestyle choices, diet, exercise, and so forth, and what our thoughts are doing. One of the wonderful things, Jenna, about you and your family and the organization you've built is you teach people how to use their brain. The brain is where all healing begins. Our self-talk can be positive or negative. So what I've done is I've used natural products to, well, let's start with a priority. We start from our thought process, and that's critical. And you don't need any supplements for that. And then we talk about our dietary process, and you just need to eat organic and healthy food in that regard. But then, and drink plenty of good quality water. We tell people to avoid the fluoride as much as possible. So these are the foundations. But then we use targeted nutritional supplements. And what I learned early on is the dance of the hormones. And these hormones are such an amazing symphony to really understand how they work. And what happens with women in particular, Jenna, is women get what are called anovulatory cycles. That means that they have their menstrual cycle, but they didn't have a egg produced in the corpus luteum, and they didn't get the progesterone boost. So even though they're having their normal menstrual cycle, they're starting to lose their progesterone after around age 25. Now, progesterone is a very beneficial hormone, and we have it in both of the creams you mentioned. We have 75 milligrams in the one called Calm Cream, and half that, 40 milligrams, in the one called XY Zone. XY stands for the XY chromosome. That's mostly for men. It has also DHEA, another powerful hormone, and some, as you can appreciate, some great high quality hemp seed oil. That's the XY Zone cream. But the Calm Cream has 75 milligrams of progesterone. These are cosmetic creams. They're designed to make you look and feel better. But the progesterone does three things. And this is where I want to slow down and really make sure people understand the benefits of progesterone. If you've ever had something called premenstrual syndrome, PMS, cramps, breast tenderness, irritability, that's estrogen dominance, which means you don't have enough progesterone. There's a big literature on that. So anybody with any of the premenstrual or menopausal hot flashes, anybody with those hormonal fluctuations, don't need to suffer anymore. This Calm Cream is very effective. One pump on your inner wrist, rub wrist to wrist, twice a day, typically handles that. Now, because it's a hormone, understand it's powerful. If something is good, more is not necessarily better. Rarely do people need more than one pump twice a day. And if one pump twice a day works, you can cut down to one pump a day. But don't think to yourself, man, I feel so great, I'm going to go to 5 or 10 pumps. Don't do that with hormones. But progesterone helps all that estrogen dominance. And I have to tell you, it is great when women say, I didn't understand that I can no longer suffer with my premenstrual. I thought I was cursed with that. So if you have any concerns about that, Calm Cream is for you. But the other thing which is very exciting about progesterone is that it blocks adrenaline. And adrenaline is your stress hormone. Most women that I know are bouncing a lot of balls up in the air. They're doing a lot of multitasking, and there's a lot of stress, which is debilitating. So when women feel extra stress and men feel extra stress, anxiety disorders, it's because there's too much adrenaline. Now, two people can be exposed to the same amount of stress, And one of them can have a big adrenaline response, and the other one can be more calm. So, how you deal with stress in your cognitive process and in your biochemical process is under your control. So, people who are suffering with anxiety, panic disorders, stress, restless sleep, these people benefit from the second quality of progesterone, which is to lower adrenaline. It's called a beta blocker. It blocks beta adrenergic or adrenaline. So the first benefit of progesterone is to help with estrogen dominance, that breast tenderness, cramping, mood swings. Fibromyalgia is also estrogen dominance. Fibroids are estrogen dominance. Cystic breasts. So first is estrogen dominance. It counters that. Secondly, it blocks adrenaline. It helps with stress and anxiety. But the third thing is very cool. It sensitizes your insulin receptors so your metabolism is more efficient. People lose weight. You have less cravings for carbohydrates or sugar or alcohol. It basically enhances the efficiency of your metabolism. And that's because it enhances the insulin sensitivity. Now, there's other things progesterone does, which is very important cosmetically. Progesterone is a hormone which is what's called a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. I don't want to put you to sleep here, but a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor is the only FDA-approved drug for hair loss or hair thinning. So progesterone is a natural benefit for women who want to have more luxurious and thick hair. Many men who have bald spots are actually putting the XY zone cream, which has the DHEA, another very powerful hormone, and the hemp on their bald spots. Women are rubbing the Calm cream into their hair follicle cell area because progesterone has the 5-alpha reductase inhibitor benefit. It prevents testosterone, which women and men both have, from metabolizing to dihydrotestosterone, and DHT is the culprit. It's the bad guy in terms of hair loss. Women have to pay attention to thyroid function. If you're hypothyroid, that can enhance hair loss, but your progesterone and your reduction of the bad testosterone via progesterone is very beneficial. Now, for men, dihydrotestosterone is also the risk factor for prostate cancer. So if men are concerned about their prostate function, they not only need the progesterone in XY zone cream, but they also need the DHA and the hemp seed oil. Now, getting back to the hair loss, which is a big issue for a lot of people, not only does Calm Cream have progesterone, and that's also what's called an aromatase inhibitor, which allows the testosterone to not metabolize to estrogen. These are kind of fascinating biochemical processes, but that's what women want. You want the aromatase inhibitor. It lowers your risk for breast cancer and other hormonal cancers. That's progesterone. But also in the Calm Cream, you have lavender oil. And lo and behold, lavender oil has been scientifically proven to enhance hair regrowth. So again, Jenna, you've got a beautiful head of hair, so you're not taking the Calm Cream for that reason. But many women, as they get older, the hair starts coming out of the shower or when they brush their hair, and it's quite alarming. And so the Calm Cream can be taken topically on the wrist or rubbed into the scalp. That's for beauty. In terms of thinning skin, wrinkling skin, the progesterone also has been tested as a skin firmer and enhancing of elasticity. So this gets to the cosmetic aspects of this cream. People notice the benefits whether they rub the progesterone cream topically on their face or simply on their wrists. So for hair loss, for skin beauty, and for all these benefits of the hormones, we're excited to offer this product. Now, there's a couple other things. Progesterone protects the neurological system. This is a big deal as we get older in terms of cognitive problems or neurodegenerative illnesses like multiple sclerosis or Lou Gehrig's disease or Parkinson's. What the progesterone does is it sends a positive message to something called the Schwann cell, which is a cell in the nervous system that myelinates, or think of an insulation around an electric cable. The myelin sheath insulates the nerves. And the Schwann cells are responsible for that, and they're stimulated by progesterone. So people with neurological challenges benefit from the progesterone. And the last exciting thing, which I think we all have to pay attention to, I'll tell about progesterone, is it actually stimulates a cell called the osteoblast. Now, the osteoblast is the cell that builds bone. So if people are looking at osteoporosis or osteopenia, progesterone is a safe and effective and beneficial hormone for that. And just to underscore that, Jenna, people typically think that menopausal symptoms are worse when the menstrual cycle ends, at age 45 or 50. So that's when the estrogen drops off and a lot of problems happen. But bone loss begins in women in their 30s. And why is that? Because you're still having your menstrual cycle, so it's not menopausal related. It gets back to that very common and undiagnosed phenomenon called anovulatory cycles, where the women menstruate, but they don't have the progesterone burst from the corpus luteum. They don't have an ovulation. They have the bleed, but not an ovulation. And so when that happens in women, which is very common, their progesterone levels start to drop off in their 30s. And that's why the bone loss begins in the 30s, because progesterone stimulates the osteoblasts, which are the cells that build bone. So to summarize, these creams can make you look better, feel better. They can cut anxiety. They can help you lose weight by sensitizing your insulin receptors. Topically, they can be beneficial for skin and for hair. What I find is that the main reason we call calm cream is that people become calm in the zone. They're not sedated. People should understand these are not sedatives. They just help you be calm. They lower the adrenaline. And for men, you get the virility, you get the increase in sexual energy, erections, and so forth, because the DHEA is a precursor to testosterone. So that helps men with their active lives, both in terms of strength and stamina, as well as the cosmetic benefits of, men don't like to lose their hair either. So those are the two products. Typically calm cream for women, typically XY zone cream for men, but it can be mixed and matched.
Wow, that was a lot of information all at once. So hopefully you guys were taking notes. If not, this is going to be recorded, so you will be able to watch this again and again. Now, typically we don't make medical claims through this channel of marketing. However, we do have a doctor with us, so that's fantastic. He can make such claims. We, however, cannot. So be prepared when you are going out to market these products. Don't make medical claims when you're posting on Facebook. Don't say that it cures things. Don't say you're going to be magically, all your hair is going to grow back tomorrow. I mean, it's something that, like Dr. Week said, you're going to do this with a combination of a good lifestyle, taking care of yourself, sleep in bed, and all that. You're going to use this in conjunction with the products that you're already using in My Daily Choice and elsewhere. So just wanted to put that little disclaimer out there. If you guys have any chats for us or any questions, please use the Q&A function in this. I have one question came through from Tammy. If you can take a couple questions, Dr. Weeks.
Sure.
Tammy said, what if you're taking prescribed progesterone and estrogen already? Is this going to interfere with taking
Yeah.
pharmaceutical versions of this?
Well, let me just, Tammy, that's a great question. And I used to give people oral progesterone pills, capsules, but it's not effective. It's not beneficial. What's very interesting is that when you take the hormones by mouth, pills or capsules, whether it's estrogen or progesterone, it goes to the liver first and it's degraded. It's called first pass metabolism. And there's now studies which show that transdermal progesterone creams are far more effective than oral progesterone. Also, one of the significant side effects of oral progesterone can be sluggishness, fatigue, and low, maybe like depression. So we avoid those with the transdermal creams. Now, if you're under the prescriptive advice of a physician, you're taking estrogen and progesterone, first of all, Tammy, good for you and your doctor to be taking both estrogen and progesterone, because here's the problem. Many women are given only estrogen. That's called unopposed estrogen. If any of you know any women who are taking just estrogen, that's a setup for cancer. That's something which I never do in my practice. Anybody getting any estrogen must be given transdermal progesterone as well. So, Tammy, you're taking a protocol now, and probably since you're a member of My Daily Choice, you're probably having great supplements and doing good lifestyle. It's simple enough to do a blood test or a salivary test and see what your hormone levels are, and then you and your doctor can make a decision on that. Typically, people need less estrogen than they're told if they take the progesterone, because one of the interesting things about the progesterone is that it interferes with the bad estrogen effect. Let me tell you about estrogen quickly. Estrogen can hit the alpha receptor in your cells or the beta receptor in your cells. The alpha receptors, when they're stimulated by estrogen, cause problems. If your estrogen is hitting the alpha receptors, you're a setup for cancer. If your estrogen is hitting the beta receptors, that's anti-cancer. What's particularly interesting is, Jen and I are fans of organic food. Did you know that glyphosate, Roundup, actually stimulates the alpha estrogen receptors? It's a very dangerous thing. This is why we eat organic food. Progesterone stimulates the beta receptors. So you'll need less estrogen if you take the transdermal progesterone. And, Jenna, I usually start with this, and I should have made this clear. Please, ladies and gentlemen, most of the progesterone on the market, most of the progesterone being given to people is not progesterone. It's a synthetic near miss. And it's shocking to me that scientists will refer to what they're talking about as progesterone when it's really progestin. Now, progestin, which is also called medroxyprogesterone, is not natural. It's not bioidentical because, as you know, pharmaceutical companies are not interested in natural things which cannot be patented. So they take something that works, they modify it a little bit in order to make it independent and unique and patentable, and they hope that they retain most of the good benefits. But in terms of the synthetic knockoff progesterone-like product, progestin, that is dangerous. That's been implicated in stroke and clot factor risks. So when the lady talks about being on progesterone and estrogen, I hope that she's on real bioidentical progesterone, which is what we offer, not the synthetic near misses. Mother Nature does not like you to screw with her, and so typically the near miss will cause more problems, and that's been the case in the women's health studies. The progestin has been found to cause strokes and clots and heart problems. So avoid progestin, avoid the synthetic things. I don't hear you now, Jen.
Oops, sorry, I was on mute. We have so many questions coming in, but again, some of these questions you guys will have to ask your doctor. We can ask Dr. Week some of these, but again, you're going to want to, compare notes and make the best decision. There's no side effects associated with this, correct?
Right. In fact,
Okay.
I first formulated the calm cream, Jen. I should say this. I first formulated the calm cream for psychiatric patients, for people with anxiety, bipolar, sleep disorders, because progesterone is such a safe calming agent. If someone's working up into an anxious tizzy, progesterone can calm that down. And it works. People in my clinic, it's kind of fun, Jenna. Often people will come in quite agitated. They're stressed and they're decompensating. And in the clinic, I'll actually have them rub some progesterone on their wrists. Men can use the calm cream. Um, and within 2 to 10 minutes, people typically say, boy, could it be working that fast? I feel much more relaxed. I mean, you had the experience with it yourself. You were having terrible headaches, I remember, right?
Yes, that's my testimony. So, I've done everything to kind of overhaul my health, so I'm always looking like, do I need to add anything or subtract anything? But I always had headaches around my cycle every single month, no matter what. And it was, and even taking CBD, I still had a little lingering, just pain between the temples every single month. And I knew it's just, that's your cycle. You got to deal with it. That's just one of those things. I started using this, and the first month, actually, I had a headache in the middle of a headache, and I put the calm cream on my temples and the back of my neck, and I put a little on my wrist, and honestly, within 15 minutes max, it had all gone away. And what I noticed is, every like every month when you're a woman that has a period, you guys, like it's something that you look forward to in a bad way. You're like, you just kind of dread it every single month. You're like, I got to deal with this every single month. But since taking this, I don't dread it anymore. It's not a big deal anymore. I don't get headaches. I don't get cramps. I don't get all of that. It's almost like I don't even have any, you know, menstrual symptoms at all anymore. So it's been really huge, and it's been really, great for me. So I know for sure it works, because I first started taking it just superstitiously, because like, what can a cream do? Like, that's my mindset, like, what is this gonna
Yeah.
do? But I don't miss it now. Even when I travel, I put some in a little thing and I take it with me, because it makes such a big difference. And there's, after all the things and all the supplements and things that I've been taking and working on through my own mindset, I never once thought about addressing my hormones. And that's a big deal for a lot of people. Especially, I can see these, all these comments. You guys all know people, you all have situations yourself. I think any age group can take this, correct? Like, not just,
Absolutely.
okay, so all across the board, doesn't matter if you're older, younger, or if you're premenopausal or post or whatever, like, everybody can take it. And my son, I give this to my almost 18-year-old son. Teenagers are high energy anyway. Mix that with mental, health issues, and you're gonna have a stressed out child. So I started giving this to him every morning, every night. He started taking this, and it's helped just kind of keep him calm, keep him in check. He's not going off, the deep end in one way or the other. So it's been a game changer, not just for me, but also for my son's taking the product as well. And Josh takes it. He takes the XYZ cream as well every day. So
Jen, you mentioned early on the role of inflammation, and progesterone is an anti-inflammatory hormone. But friends, inflammation is a double-edged sword. Inflammation is beneficial if you have an infection. It helps you fight the infection, but it should be an acute, enthusiastic response and then disappear. Inflammation should not be long-lived. But our food, the junk food that people eat, the electromagnetic pollution in the air, there's so many things that cause inflammation in our bodies. And that's a low-grade chronic inflammation, which is the analogy I tell people, Jenna, is inflammation is like it can be like righteous indignation, where someone insults you and you kind of rear up and defend yourself, and then you make peace and it's gone and you don't hold a grudge. But if people are holding grudges, that's like low grade inflammation. It kills you, nobody else. So the low grade inflammation is what you need to address. Progesterone helps with that, but all psychiatric illnesses, and this is what was remarkable. There was a journal of the American Psychiatric Association. The entire edition was dedicated to the fact that every psychiatric ailment, depression, schizophrenia, PTSD, insomnia, bipolar disorder, psychosis, schizophrenia, anxiety, paranoia, they are all driven by inflammation, which means that if you have anyone in your life with any of these psychiatric ailments, the first thing is to get them on the anti-inflammatory diet, which is, of course, avoiding, inflammatory foods like dairy, for example, milk products, yogurt, cheese, ice cream. These are very inflammatory foods. They're problematic in many ways. I admit that I love them, and if it's my birthday, I'm having ice cream, but it's not a health food. So don't try to understand that dairy is inflammatory. So shutting down inflammation is very, very beneficial as step number one for anybody with mood disorders, depression, anxiety, and so forth. And progesterone is an anti-inflammatory.
that's phenomenal. So you guys have all the information. Hopefully you need to go make a choice, but you guys go get this product yourself. It's not that expensive at all. What did we say this is going for? $59, I believe.
I don't even know that because
I don't even know. It's so new. It just came out. You guys go check the website, but it's right in there, and probably will be added to the brand Brooks products in the future, if not already. And go get it and go share it with the world. We're so excited that we have these products, and